Lord, help us to do his will of healing the hurt, loving the land, engaging the stranger. Help us to center ourselves as a community in your Son. Empower us up today to share, to learn, to teach, to, in this laboratory of ministry, discover.
Finest bread I will provide, till their hearts be satisfied. I will give my life to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart.
And I am so excited and moved and I guess hopeful because of this event that we're having here today. It is an event, but I think it's also kind of, well, it's what it's called, a ministry laboratory. I think that there are discoveries being made here. I think people are making connections here that will tie people together in ways that expand their connection beyond just their neighbors that are nearby, in their mission district or perhaps in their hometown or their community. They're talking to people across this synod territory, which stretches a long way.
Our job is to share the stories of how congregations, through their mission support giving, are doing God's work. You've all heard the tagline, God's work, our hands. Well, we want everybody to know about the stories that are happening in your congregations. We have a group of people who would love to come to your congregation and share the stories. Today, at this wonderful MinLab, we're having a lot of different ministries that are here and stories that we're learning today that we had no idea existed. So one of the things that is very important to us is you letting us know so that we can share the stories with everybody.
My husband Brian and I just recently came back from California, and Pastor Mike Benetham asked if we would be interested in re-energizing the Hunger Team. The purpose of the Hunger Team is to make folks in the Synod aware of what ELCA World Hunger does and to encourage them to do hunger events in their own congregations. We're hoping to collect stories of the hunger ministries that are happening in our local congregations to encourage other folks to pick up and do things. Might hear a story and say, that's a really neat idea, we could do that.
And our ministry that we're showcasing today is called Cafe Esperanza. Esperanza is the Spanish word for hope. And it's our mission to bring hope to the people that live in our neighborhood through serving really good food in a lovely atmosphere and serving people with dignity. We are a pay what you can cafe, which means that a client can come in and they are then able to pay whatever they can afford. The food is as local and organic and seasonal as possible. Most of the work is done by volunteers. We're training neighborhood people to be baristas so that they can go and get good jobs after they leave us as our volunteers. We have a mission to build community among people who come from different walks of life. So we hope to build community around a shared meal and a table.
All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or toss their fingers, claws, or anything they got now. It's a simple song that is sung everywhere by the ox and the fox and the grizzly bear, the grumpy alligator and the hot robo, the sly raccoon and the turtle dove. Woo!
Our main goal here is really just to get kids out into nature. We like to think of ourselves as a dynamic ministry, sort of getting out there and being, active and engaging. We definitely want to be kind of fun, uplifting. We have 2 separate camps we run in the summer. That's our Nature Day camp, and then we also have our overnight camp. I have been a camper for about 4 years. I know there's some people here who were campers for their entire life. then went on to become counselors or even working sort of on full-time staff. So definitely an amazing community, an amazing experience if you do get the chance to come on out. We're glad to be back after a summer where we couldn't have camp due to COVID. And our whole goal is pretty much just to have fun and still help everybody, kids, counselors included even, to kind of develop and grow their faith in a sort of a fun and inclusive environment.
I think I'm particularly moved today because we are all still struggling with the pandemic. And as none of us can say the pandemic is over, we're blessed with a vaccine, we're blessed with the opportunity to have safe practices that allow us to gather, but here we are outside, but also able to see each other, to be together face to face. We are adjusting and moving forward and doing ministry and moving in God's mission, even in the midst of this disruptive new normal that we live in today. So the fact that we're here and that we're doing it safely, but that we're showing up and we're sharing is a credible sign of God's work here on this territory.
We were instructed that during the pandemic that we all have been through, the organization called Family Promise, which helps homeless families, had to abandon housing people in churches because churches were closed. So they had to rent apartment spaces in the Reading area to house the families they were working with at any given time. My wife came up with the idea of buying pinwheels at the dollar store and then selling them for $2 to raise funds to help Family Promise. Through a lot of different means, we kept selling more and more and more. We had to go back to the store and buy more and more and more. So we were very happy about that, and we felt that the Lord was really blessing us to do this.
We've been doing mission work for 16 years. We were involved with Kutztown University for a while with Alternative Spring Break, normally taking about 25 to 30 students with us and 4 or 5 adults in the group, and did a lot of cool projects from roofing to kind of rebuilding houses. We kind of moved on from that over the years into some more local mission and got involved with Allentown Rescue Mission. Probably the most exciting one recently that we've done was our Blitz. With this project there was a roof leak and a ceiling and flooring and insulating and a ramp and things like that, and we felt it was a little more than we could handle. So we actually teamed up with 5 different congregations in the Kutztown area and showed up with about 35 to 40 people, and in 6 to 7 hours completed all those projects. So it's been a fun run on 16 years, and we're hoping that we're going to keep that up.
Our job is to lift up resources for lifelong learning, faith formation. The team is also responsible for the yearly Learning Ministries Day, which happens the 4th Sunday in January. And we're always coming up with new things that we want to try and do. If it has something to do with faith formation and education, that's what we do. We have recently, during the last few months, have been doing a total revamp, reorganizing, putting things together in a different way. And in the process of that, we have found we have a lot of copies of things. So we've been cleaning house, and today we're offering all these extras up for free so they can get a new home.
I think one of the great things that I've enjoyed about this is how much I have watched leaders in the Synod take hold of this idea and run with it. This is not something that came from the bishop's office and is run by a staff. The people that have worked on this event have really thought through. It's not just a ministry fair. To me, it's like a living website, as it were, an opportunity for us to transcend time and space and come together in one place and do this kind of connection.
Growing Young is all about welcoming and retaining people of all ages in ministry where Jesus is at our center. When we practice and live out a Jesus-centered ministry, we practice 6 core characteristics. We are helping to recognize those 6 core characteristics in ministries that are already at work. We are empowering people to come to know what it is those 6 core characteristics are, and celebrate them, and hopefully inspire ways that we can continue living out ministry that is in fact for growing young.
I'm asked to tell a little bit about the stranger we have out front. One day I'm sitting on the bench, and from across Main Street in Kutztown, I hear a young man rather loudly saying, "What is that? Who is that?" So he asked me, and I said, "Take a look and tell me who you think it is." So he looked up and down and looked at it, and all of a sudden he said, "It's Jesus." He said, "Why doesn't it have a face?" I said, "Well, we hope that when you look in anyone who is a stranger, you would see them in there. And then you might see Jesus in them." And the little guy, he looks at me and he says, "That's a pretty good idea." I was blown away. I think it is a pretty good idea. That's the story of the stranger.
We'd like to tell you about our Sharing Life ministry. It's a ministry to mentally challenged people throughout the whole area. We do arts and crafts. We do different things. We do painting, we do sculptures, we do jewelry.
The first month they came and we had 14 volunteers and 10 people walked in, only 10. And Sue went, "Oh, wow, there's only 10. And I went, "Yes, 10 people that we can serve here today for the Lord." And 40 people showed up the next month, and we've grown and grown each month. That very first Christmas, we had 150 people come, and it's been successful ever since. So we try to get youth involved, and we're growing because all those kids that we had years ago are now having kids. So we hope to grow in the next few years and open our doors to everyone, and everyone's always welcome, even to come and just check out Sharing Life.
I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. Hey, thanks for singing along.
I'm just kind of blown away, and I'm really thankful for every person who pitched in and dived in and took hold of this idea and ran with it. Will this happen again? Quite possibly. I don't know. If it happens again, it's because God says, "Do this again. Let's have this bread always. Let's continue to find ways to connect." So this is, yes, just the start of something. It's the start of something that will bear fruit week after week, day after day, in the hearts and the places across this city. And I'm excited about that.